All right, it's showtime. I love it how it says that. Welcome back to another episode of It's All Clutter, the internet's best weekly decluttering advice show. I am Jess Marcy. I am a clutter boss and I help you become a clutter boss as well. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a couple of great topics for today's Ask a Clutter Boss. And as usual, if you're joining us live and you have a question, you can put it into the comments right now. If you're joining us on replay, just give a hashtag replay so we can come back and see that you were here, say hello. And if you have questions, you can post them into the comments later on as well. All right. It is Tuesday, November 5th. It is voting day, election day. But we are still talking about clutter, no matter what's going on in the world around us. We have our world in our homes that we are still dealing with. Good morning, Sandra. So, a couple of great things on tap for today to talk about. In our It's All Clutter group, there was an incredible post about mindset. I'll specifically get into this post in a second, but mindset is, I think, probably when we talk about decluttering, shifting your mindset around everything related to clutter. So, around stuff, decision making, finances. Oh, my hair is really doing a thing today, isn't it? Uh, Shifting your mindset around all of that can make such a huge difference. It is the one thing that changes everything moving forward is your mindset. We can teach you how to declutter, but until you embrace thinking about clutter differently, the changes are not going to be lasting. And that's why I think the programs that we put together, where we really focus on mindset and talking about the reality of everything, and how you can change your mindset. And here's a thought that you might have. Here's another thought that you can replace it with. That's when really true magic happens. So, in this comment, it says that I have found in my decluttering journey that many of my decisions are tinged with fear or concern of loss or making a mistake I cannot fix. When we feel like we may make a mistake, it just keeps us totally trapped in an inability to make a decision or move forward. When we were children, we may have been taught that making a mistake is a bad thing. Like, even if you accidentally do something like spilling a cup of milk, you may have gotten yelled at for that, right? Like, you made a mistake, you knocked something over, you made a mistake on an exam, you're punished with a lower score. I mean, we really, I think, are brought up in this culture where making a mistake, even though we're told it's okay to make a mistake, we're shown it's not okay to make a mistake. I think that challenging this mindset is tremendous when it comes to clutter, because clutter is a lot of putting off decisions because of fear that you are going to make the wrong decision. The truth in my mind is we cannot learn or grow without making a mistake. And on the same side of that, we cannot, like, I guess on the other side of that, we cannot have confidence in our decision making if we just don't make decisions. We can't learn from mistakes if we don't make mistakes, and we can't gain confidence in ourselves if we don't try something and see how it goes. So when it comes to decluttering, this is a great way that you can start to figure out, um is this a mistake? Am I making a mistake? Or you can start to gain confidence in your decisions by letting something go. See what the consequences are. Was it a mistake? And if so, is it okay? Yes, it is okay. It is just stuff. At the end of the day, it is just stuff. If you let go of something and it was a mistake, it is just stuff. You are going to be okay. You are going to survive. You are probably going to thrive because you're going to learn from that mistake. But by and large, the decision to let go of something results in a confidence boost that you have made the right decision. You can live without something and it is going to be okay. So, really think about making those decisions. Give yourself the opportunity to either mess up, make a mistake, or to gain confidence in yourself. And I think probably ultimately you gain confidence either way because mistakes are Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. I remember that like everything is going to be okay. That line really resonates with me a lot. I feel like I was not told that everything is going to be okay. Um, and I say that a lot to my kids. Everything's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Um, so if you need to hear that today, everything is going to be okay. And if you can find the confidence to make a decision, um, and see what happens, just be open to the possibilities. Usually it works out better than you ever imagined. When I changed my mental vocabulary and stopped telling myself, "This is scary, I'm afraid, I'm not sure I can do this," and began saying, "It's all just stuff," over and over, so wonderful. Yes, it is all just stuff. You were not born with this stuff. You will not It will not go to the grave with you. You come into the world with your body, you leave the world. It is all just stuff. And in the entire equation, you and your mental health is so much more important than any single thing. By choosing to keep things in our life, we are choosing over and over and over again to put stuff before us. There is nothing more important than you. Choose yourself, not the stuff. The stuff is weighing you down and holding you back. It is not helping you. Choose yourself. There's no U-Haul in a funeral procession. That is so true. I love that. I love that. There is no U-Haul in a funeral procession. No, there is not. Choose yourself, my friends. Choose yourself over the stuff. You matter more. Okay, on that note, we'll move on to the next topic. Uh, I have a little note to myself here to remind everyone who's on this call that this is a great time to declutter your holiday stuff. So if you have decorations, holiday anything, now is the time when you're pulling the stuff out, declutter it. Declutter it right now. If you want to donate holiday decorations, this is a great time of the year to do it. This is the time to go through your holiday stuff. Only keep what you love. Only keep what you love. So go ahead. Friendly reminder, holiday decluttering starts now. This is such a good time to donate holiday stuff. It's very donatable this time of year. Okay, another topic that's coming up a lot is this hyper fixation on disposal. And I'm just summarizing some things that I was reading today that people are posting and sharing. I was taught to save everything and that landfills are bad. Let me know in the comments, were you taught to save everything and that landfills are bad? I was also taught to save everything and that landfills are bad. But luckily, we live in an information age and we can find out, are landfills bad? Why were we taught to save everything? Why were we taught that landfills are bad? By and large, the evidence today shows that landfills in the United States are a much better environmental option than shipping our recycling to developing nations. So when we look at landfill technology, specifically in the US, from a strictly environmental standpoint, it is way better for the environment to throw stuff into a landfill than it is to take our recycling and ship it to a developing nation that does not have the same environmental standards and controls that we have, that is possibly going to just burn the items, open air burn them, dump them into a landfill that does not have the proper sealing underneath it, or dump it into a river or the ocean. So, if you were taught that landfills are bad, I would encourage you to get some updated information. Number one of the reasons we were taught that landfills were bad is because they used to be worse. They used to be bad, but also companies don't want to be responsible for disposing of the items that you're consuming. They want to put that responsibility onto the consumer. So they told you it's your responsibility to be a good person and do the right thing with this item when you're done with it. The right thing is so complicated. That is so complicated and so nuanced. You need to do the right thing for you, for you. But from an environmental standpoint, I am pro landfill because we know what happens when we put something into a landfill in the United States. We don't know what happens when we wish cycle things. So, wish cycling is when we toss a whole bunch of stuff into our recycling bin and just wish, hope, pray that it is going to be dealt with properly for disposal. The reality of the recycling industry is so horrifying and much worse than we were taught that it is. Um, it's things are not recycled like we think they are. Luckily, there is plenty of documentation behind the scenes, investigative journalism that has been done about the recycling situation. I encourage you just go look it up. It is you are not a bad person if you throw out something, period. And we have been lied to a lot about the reality of recycling. Recycling, in theory, amazing. Recycling in practice, terrible. And of course, there are some exceptions to that. Metal is pretty reliably recycled in a good and safe way. But plastics, newspaper, glass, a lot of it just gets tossed into the garbage. Plastic recycling is an absolute disaster. So only 9% of any plastics, of all plastics that have ever been produced, have actually been recycled. And most of that has been downcycling, not recycling. Recycling means you can use something indefinitely over and over and over again, or at least for like many uses. Downcycling means you can turn it into one more product and then it's going to be in the garbage. So recycling, it's just, we need to do better. But that's a kind of bigger issue than what you're dealing with in your house right now. The best thing that you can do for the environment is consume less. So if you could hyper focus on consuming less instead of hyper focusing on what to do with the items that you already have, you will do more for the environment by consuming less than you will by holding on to stuff because you're not sure what the best next thing to do with it is. You end up turning your home into a landfill when you have a whole bunch of stuff that is ultimately garbage, but you're keeping because you don't want to throw it out. Then your house becomes the garbage dump, and you deserve to have a home that you love so that you can be mentally available to make those decisions about what you are choosing to consume. You see, it's kind of like a weird reversal of the way that we think about things, but you need the mental space and energy, which you get from having clear space around you, to be a consumer, a good consumer. So, and I say good consumer, like whatever that means to you, to make consumption choices that are in alignment with your core values. That takes time and energy, and clutter steals time and energy. So when you're hanging on to stuff because you're not sure how to dispose of it, and you have such little control over that system as an individual, but you do have complete control over what you consume, that's where we need to spend our focus. Okay. Another interesting, and we're going to wrap up after this one. Another interesting topic that has come up in It's All Clutter a lot this week. And It's All Clutter is our free Facebook community. If you're not in there, head over there. It's a fantastic community that supports your decluttering, whatever that looks like for you. Is this idea of this identity. I'm always the person that has what everyone needs. And I love being that person. I love being that person that always has the thing that other people need. So, I go to work, I have everything that my coworkers could possibly need. I have tissues, I have chapstick, I have Tide pens, I have all the things because I'm the person that has what everyone needs. And I love being that person who is always ready to give something to somebody who needs it. I have all the things so that I can be that person. This is a huge identity that can definitely keep us holding on to our clutter. And I would encourage you to recognize what you have inside of you that other people truly need. Are you a good listener? Are you a good hugger? Are you somebody who is always there for other people just with your time and energy? If you can start to shift the identity from being the person who always has the thing that other people need to being the person that is always available for other people, because I bet that's what you are too. And you can start to let go of all of these things you're hanging on to just in case. We say it's time to break up with just in case, but we're hanging on to just a lot of times we talk about just in case because, I'm hanging on to this because just in case I need it in the future. If you're hanging on to things just in case somebody else needs it in the future, you don't need to be that person. It is okay to let that go. You are enough. You are enough. So, I think that the bottom line here is choose you. You are enough. And when it comes to decluttering, if you can keep going back to that, choose you, put yourself first. You are enough. You are enough. You don't need the stuff to prove anything to anyone. You are enough. I will leave you with that thought for today. You are enough, friends. You don't need any of the stuff. Have a wonderful, beautiful Tuesday, and I will see you same time, same place next week. Thanks for tuning in.